What is going on, everybody? Critic and the Common Man here, and yes, you are seeing that right. We are reviewing the Queens Gambit here at the end of February 2021. Chris, welcome to October of 2020, dude. Here we go. We talked about Queens Gambit back when it came out, and I watched it. I binged it, man.
Is
I
it
binged
that
this
old?
thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this came out in October. Dude.
I need to just trust the stuff that's coming out, and I don't know, because
Just
for
watch
me,
it.
I'm like, oh, it's about chess, and I love chess. Me and my dad, my dad's a huge chess player. That's literally all he does all day, and he's the one that taught me how to play chess. And I remember playing with him as a kid during Y2K for all you youngins out there.
He's like, Chris, you're gonna need to know how to play this game when all the electricity goes away. You're like, Dad, I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah. But I remember playing it during Y2K with my dad. So chess has always kind of been our thing. And I don't know, for whatever reason, this show just didn't... Like, I remember seeing the trailer and I was like, wow, this looks super interesting. And that was it. I never...
Right, and then you just passed. I remember texting you way back. I was like, hey, dude, I'm watching this Queen's Gambit show. It's dope. And I binged it. And we were like, okay, yeah, we'll watch it.
I think we were
and review
watching
it, and
other
just kinda
shows
got-
at the time, too. And it was just hard
Definitely.
for me to watch, like, multiple shows and the movies all at once,
Definitely,
you know?
dude.
So.
Yeah, there's too much content out there. But yeah, you text me like, hey, man, I watched the Queen's Gambit. I was like, oh, all right, I guess we'll
Finally.
review that.
Yeah.
I guess we'll review that one. So we'll see if this gets like one view. We'll know why. But if you're still with us and you saw the Queen's Gambit, welcome to our review. We probably don't need to say it. This is your one and only spoiler warning. If you've not seen the Queen's Gambit on Netflix, again, you're behind the times. Go watch it, come back, and we'll let you know what we think. This is a full review. All right, man. So yeah, I saw this, and chess is one of those things. It's kind of funny. Chess is one of those things where you see somebody good playing it. Like you see Magnus Carlsen playing chess, and they make it look so easy, and it seems so fun and strategic, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm into this. I want to do this. And then you try to play like the computer chess against like the easiest difficulty and just get smoked.
Yep.
And you realize immediately there is a major learning curve to that game.
You have
do
to
not
be ahead. Like, you have to be like 3, 4, 10 moves ahead of the other person. You have to know,
you
I'm
can't
going to
just
move
sit
here,
down
and then
be
they're
a
going to do
chess
this.
master.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
basically what she was doing the entire time was like, if I move here, he'll move this, or he'll move this, or he'll move this. And she already has plans for each of those. You know,
See,
you
I
have to know.
like the Queen's Gambit because it's one of those shows where, or it's one of those stories where the person's just naturally super gifted somehow at something. They don't actually have to work that hard. Like, that's what I want. I don't want to have to work super hard to be a chess master. I want to just wake
you
up. I want to get
tried-
struck by lightning
Have you
and
tried
then wake up
opiates?
one day and all of a sudden I can see the moves 3 steps ahead, and that's it. And I just become a world famous chess master. Don't have to put in any of the work. There's probably something in there about my personality that you could kind of dig into, some sort of laziness trait, but
Neural
yeah,
therapists? Anyone?
yeah, some sort of Freudian slip there that I just made. But I immediately, this motivated me enough to get back into chess that I actually opened up my MacBook and tried to play the little chess game. Did not even get one game in.
I
and
wonder if
remembered.
I have chess on my computer.
I'm sure you can download it for free or find it online, like Free Chess Player or whatever it is. It's hard, man.
I just
it's
had a
hard.
flashback
it's a
to, like-
strategic game.
I just had a flashback to all of the Flash games that I used to like go on
Oh,
the
dude, I
computer
know.
to play.
AddictingGames.com and
Newgrounds.
Armor Games, Newgrounds, dude. So how is it that chess, being one of the most ancient and strategic games, a game of kings, how is it that the only people that play chess anymore are homeless people in New York City? Nobody actually plays chess, dude. The only time you ever see chess is like 2 dudes hustling each other on the street.
My
at, like, a
dad
cardboard
plays
box.
against Indians online. Like,
There
it's
you go,
it's
okay.
almost entirely always an Indian person, an older Indian gentleman that my dad is playing. So
Hey, I've said it before. Over half of our followers on Instagram are from India,
Yep.
so this might be one of our bigger videos yet. Let's get into this, man. What did you think of this show? Because it kind of came out of nowhere. I had not really heard of the story, the Queen's Gambit. Anya Taylor-Joy, right? I'm saying her name correctly.
Sure.
Comes in, and the last thing, yeah, right. You know who she is. And the last thing we'd seen her in was the New Mutants,
yeah.
which was awful. Her character was also awful in that movie, personally.
Duh.
She was Alita Battle Angel, basically, and that is what we referred to her
With
as.
a lightsaber.
X-Men fans are going to be pissed. But what'd you think, man? Queen's Gambit, initial reactions.
So I watched the first episode because I was bored, and I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what all the talk was about. Dude, I ended up watching like 4 episodes, and like I was up until like 2 in the morning. I couldn't stop watching it. It was so intriguing, and I loved
Yeah.
just seeing the development of this child's gift. You know, just that in itself was just enough to get me watching. And then the fact that she's getting hooked on I don't know what kind of pills those were, but it's some sort of sedative, I'd imagine, or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't know. Just it was interesting from a plot point of view. The cinematography is gorgeous. Everything about the show was just layered in such a good way that it made you want to watch the next episode. That every ending led into the next episode, and it just kept me hooked. And I had to go to bed, you know, at some point. So I ended up just binge watching the rest of it the next day. So overall, I mean, I was really, really intrigued. I was entertained.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say this is the best show I've ever seen, but it's definitely one of the most interesting shows I've seen.
Well, and how many shows about chess have you seen?
True,
This
and
would be
the subject
first
matter for
me.
sure, yeah.
Right. The subject matter is just kind of unique. It's pretty rare to see I'm trying to remember, like, have I ever seen any movie or show about chess?
Rain
I don't
Man.
think I have.
Nope.
I don't think that was chess
No, it
either.
wasn't.
I don't think that I have. This was one of those, I was working from home on the day that this dropped on Netflix, or I don't know if it was the day it dropped, but the day that I noticed it on Netflix enough to start watching it. I think, if I remember correctly, there were 6 episodes, I believe, or 8 maybe, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And they were all about an hour long. I literally, I kid you not, I started this while I was working from home at like 7 in the morning. I finished it that day.
Wow.
I legitimately just let it run. I just let it play all day. Like while I was eating, I just didn't turn it off. Let it ride the whole day. Legitimately finished 6 or 7 hours of this show in one sitting.
It's good.
It is good. There were a few episodes that did lose me a little bit, but one thing that I really appreciated about the Queen's Gambit that some of the movies we've seen lately have really suffered from is they kept the story about chess enough. Because it was very much about chess and about Beth Harmon's life.
Yeah.
You see her kind of coming of age. It's her coming of age tale as well, and her becoming a woman and venturing out and experimenting with drugs and alcohol and sex and, you know, her identity. But it didn't get so wrapped up in that the whole thing turned into a drama. It kept coming back and being about the game of chess at the end, which I really appreciated.
It was,
because if it started being about chess and then just turned into the Beth Harmon story, whatever, I would have lost interest for me.
It's interesting because you see this young girl who grows up to become this prodigy, basically, and while how do I say this? She, because of the circumstances of her being raised in the orphanage and the pills that they were giving out and stuff, you know, the lack of knowledge as far as like that medication at the time, she becomes somebody who uses the pills as a form of escape. And in a way, so is chess. Like this girl, basically her entire life uses something as an escape from her problems. And you see that with the way that she treats the guys that she sleeps with, and the drug abuse and the alcohol abuse and just substance abuse in general. Just insert, and it's just interesting to see that while chess is something that she's good at, it's also her escape. Just like the drugs, she's addicted to it.
Right.
It's all she thinks about when she's not doing something that is bad for her. And it's just interesting to see her grow throughout the show, as that, you know, kind of starts to literally tear apart her life.
Dude, one of my favorite characters in this, and I can't remember his name even hardly because it was literally 4 months ago that I watched the show, Christopher. But the dude who was
you're just
not
passive aggressively, just it was 4 months ago.
4 months ago, Christopher. Not the guy, the first dude at the school who was like the school best, and she beats him, but the dude who wore like the trench coat and had the knife and wore the hat.
Benny.
Sure, that dude cracked me up because I have met that guy.
I have met him too. He went to my high school.
Yes, yes. Like everybody knows that person.
Yeah.
The dude who's like really good at something super obscure, but dresses like they're out of like an Indiana Jones movie. Everybody knows that guy, dude. Like I was in theater and stuff as a kid, and I remember there was like the really weird, quirky dude who was it'd either be like a Rubik's Cube that they could solve in 30 seconds. Or they would be insane at the yo-yo.
They just bust
or
out
they
a
could
bop
juggle. Yeah, dude, whatever it was. whatever it was, everybody knows somebody who dressed up like Indiana Jones for a good part of their life and was extremely good at one thing, but so socially awkward. I was like, as soon as they introduced that character, I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that guy, but I know that guy.
That's hilarious because that was my first reaction too when I saw him. I was like, hey.
I was like, yeah, everybody went to everybody went to high school with that guy. I did like that it got kind of like a Miracle-esque vibe, which is a hockey movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's about like the U.S. hockey team.
Yeah.
Fighting, like playing the Soviet Union. It had kind of like a Miracle vibe when they're like, we're going to play the Russians. And, there's these daunting
Cold War
Russian
era,
guys.
yeah.
Dude, I was so like psychologically and emotionally invested in this show. When she played, not the final match, but when she played the Russian dude who had like the really cool look. He had like the mustache and like the big bushy hair.
And
they're playing
the old guy,
and basically yes, and they go to a break
when she played Einstein,
and then when she played Einstein, exactly Einstein. When she's playing Albert, and she's supposed to lose because he has advantage and gets time, dude. And when you
said Albert, I was literally like, oh, you know his name, and then I was like, wait, I get it.
It's like when we reference Bill Nye on here, but not the science guy, the actor Bill Nye in that Pokemon movie. I was like blown away. I was like, dude, Bill Nye was not in that movie.
Detective
like,
Pikachu.
Not the science
Link
guy.
in the description, maybe, if I remember.
Link in the description. When he realizes that she's going to beat him, and he gives her that speech, and he's like, I believe I have just played the greatest chess player of my entire life. Dude, I almost cried.
Yeah,
I was
so
like, this
good.
is so intense. They did a really good job of taking kind of a boring game and making it interesting because of the story and making it seem pretty competitive. The way that, they're in this Russian hall, this great hall, and they're playing, and somebody over the radio's calling the moves out to a radio broadcast, and the fans outside are moving the pieces on a big board and everything. I mean, it's just so heavily invested. But it just a really, really fascinating show with subject matter that I would not have thought would have worked. But I think they made it about the game enough while also making Beth Harmon a likable and interesting enough character that they pulled it off. This was different and really, really good.
I loved when she went to New York and you just got that complete opposite side of like the life she'd been used to. Is there anything about the show that you didn't like? Because I can think of at least one thing that I personally didn't.
You go first, because honestly, it's been a little while for me. I'm gonna have to think of some of the things that I didn't love.
And this is not a fault on the show. It's stylistically something that I didn't like. So everybody watching, take that with a grain of salt. But there were moments in the show where they were trying. How do I explain this? They were trying to portray an emotion that was done without speaking lines. So, for example, when she was playing the kid, the Russian kid, and right. I guess he kind of hit on her. I didn't really understand, but he was like, do they have drive-in movies? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, I would dig that. And then she had a reaction that I didn't quite understand. And she just walked away from him. And then when she came back to play him the next day, she would just make her move and then go somewhere else. And then he would make his move and she would come back, play her move, and then leave the table again. And she did that over and over. And I didn't understand if she was upset with him because right afterwards she told him, like, you're the best player I've ever played. And basically kind of boosted his ego a little bit. I don't know if she was trying to teach him a lesson or distract him. The show did that a few times where there was an emotion that was trying to be conveyed that I didn't understand. And I don't know if it's because I didn't pick up on some sort of cue or maybe I'm just that socially awkward kid. I don't know. But there was something about certain scenes.
You put on your Indiana Jones hat. You're like, yeah, right? I didn't understand any of the emotion in this.
I do have.
Then again, I don't really understand emotion at all.
I don't understand
any
emotion.
Spinning a little pocket knife.
So
Beth Harmon herself is pretty enigmatic. I mean, she's kind of a puzzle herself, and they tried to portray her as that. They tried to make her kind of
mysterious.
Like, you don't know if she's like on the spectrum or something at first, or if she's just gone through a lot of psychological abuse, and then it kind of turns out that she's just kind of a quirky person. She's had a weird childhood, a rough childhood.
I mean, it's hinted that her mother had some sort of mental disorder, right? Disability?
Yeah, definitely. And the woman that adopts her Is that who you're talking about? Like her adopted mother?
No, her
Or did
actual mother.
they made reference? Oh, I don't remember if they made reference to her biological mother.
Yeah, her you see
Wasn't
her
it-
in a few flashbacks when they're in the car and there was an accident. Her mother like
Right,
purposefully drove them
right.
into a
She
truck.
purposefully crashes the car. That's right, because
So-
she's like ashamed and knows she can't take care of this kid. Yeah, that's harsh, man. What a harsh way to go.
And I mean, the first
Yeah,
time you
I
see
mean,
her, she's frozen in place as a child. She's like just 100-yard stare, you know.
Right.
So
Well, and Beth Harmon is pretty, like, she is pretty hard to read, and I didn't know. I think they mainly did that on purpose. So props to Anya Taylor Joy or Anya Joy Taylor. I don't remember her name exactly.
Enya.
It's Anya something. Props to her for pulling this character off, because she's got a look, you know what I mean? She's kind of an interesting looking person. She's pretty and all, but she's definitely got kind of
she's
a unique look. And
yeah, for sure.
for sure, and she's very recognizable. And she just made a very strange character in this that lent itself very well to a chess playing
Yeah.
quirky teen coming up in the world. Dude, when she calls back to all the people in New York that were helping her, all the guys and that girl who were kind of helping her try to win, and the Benny guy answers the phone, and he kind of looks over and just like nods, like as if to say like she beat the Russian dude, and they all erupt in cheers. There was a legitimate emotional response out of me at the end of this, man. I was really invested.
Well, I mean,
When
that's
Beth,
that's a show that knows how to tug at your emotions
but
yeah.
dude, about chess, like I've always been a sucker for sports movies. I love Rudy. I love any good sport. Remember the Titans. Any good sports film, Miracle. I love. But dude, I never would have thought I'd be that emotionally invested in a show about chess, man. I mean, it's just, no offense, it's an interesting game, and I think everybody can appreciate the complexity of it. But it's just not that exciting. It's just not that exciting of a sport. There's a chess club, and it's just a slow,
It is, yeah.
strategic kind of game. So for them to get to elicit that sort of emotional response out of me, I guess I was pretty impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I got to give them marks for that, for sure. As far as things I didn't like about this one, I was a little bit, I think it kind of goes in line a little bit with what you were saying. You were saying that sometimes they were trying to show an emotional response that you didn't quite get. I think mine's kind of the same. Sometimes Beth Harmon would do things that I didn't quite understand either. Just some choices she would make, or conversations she would have, or whatever it may be. But again, I think a lot of that can just be chalked up to the fact that she's a quirky teen with a traumatic childhood who's into a really weird sport game, that a lot of people can't really appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, and like I
so
said, it's not. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, not a whole lot that I would say I didn't like about it.
No, it's just that, like I said, it's not a fault of the show. It's just, I guess the show itself is just so emotionally complex that
Right.
I think it requires more than one viewing in order to like fully get, I guess the artistic intent behind everything. But even if you just watch it one time, the show's story and the plot and the characters are so well done that it's interesting enough just the one time.
I don't know if this is a cop-out, and maybe it is. Maybe this is like a chicken way of saying this, or a scared way of saying this, but I think it's part of growing up. If you're involved in sports, and whether it be a contact sport, a non-contact sport, chess, football, soccer, basketball, swimming, whatever it may be, it's kind of disheartening as you get a little older and you start to realize, like, there are some intrinsic thing, or I don't even know if intrinsic, but there are some almost just like biological advantages that some people are going to have that will just make them better at some things. And I know that's like a total cop-out, but it's like, it would be really, like chess, for example. I could probably spend I could probably devote the rest of my life to playing chess. And to the day I die, there will probably still be people that would be better than me. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit like I could devote the rest of my life to football or basketball, and I'm just never going to be the best because physically or mentally or whatever it is, I just don't cut out to be that. Like, it was a little disheartening watching this when it's like, oh, Beth Harmon is the best chess player in the world because she's got this gift and whatever it is. And it's like, obviously she's been through a lot of trauma, but me and you, well, I don't know, maybe you could, but I know for a fact I could not, even if I devoted every day for the rest of my life to chess, I'd be better than I was now, but there's no way I'd ever be a world champion.
It's funny you say
chess.
that, because there's this scene when she's talking to, I believe it was the French woman, the model, and the model said something along the lines of, I don't know, maybe it was like, oh, 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 I It was right after she got her ass handed to her. I think somebody watching this will know, but basically the scene is this model woman, I can't remember her name, just kind of looked at her and told her, now, like, it must be so hard for you who's been good at everything you do. Now you know what it's like for the rest of us. Like, she's just telling her, like, you're so naturally gifted that you've never had to lose, and now that you have,
right.
you know, it's humbling her.
Yep.
So it's interesting that you say that. Good Lord, that because it, you know,
Yeah,
I think the show calls
mean
itself
to,
out on that.
right, and I don't want to discredit hard work. Hard work will get you very far, but I think to reach the pinnacle at most things, if not anything, hard work has to meet some sort of talent, and that talent can come from different things. But it's like with chess, dude, there's just no way. I don't have the mind for chess. I know I don't. I might get good enough to where I could beat like the layman at chess, but there's no way I'm beating Magnus Carlsen or some world champion. Like, it's just not going to happen, man. There's people that devote their entire lives to this game and have been playing since they were kids. And some people just have this weird psychological ability to you know, have a more strategic mind. I don't know. This, to me, the biggest takeaway for me from this is just I'm impressed that they were able to keep my attention so well with a show about something so unexciting. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'm not a chess enthusiast, and I was absolutely into this.
Yeah, same.
It got pretty good reviews. It's a TV show, so it's not like they rate it the way they do movies. But on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you come in on the Queen's Gambit?
It's even as a film person, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm busy, but for me, watching shows is difficult. A show has to be good enough to get my attention for me to want to binge watch it, and this show did it. Everything. I mean, the moments with her adopted mother when she's playing piano, you know, the scenes. Which, by the way, another thing I didn't really like was the scenes of the chessboard on the ceiling. I just thought that was a little cheesy, but you know, I get it.
It was a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that was different. Everything else was pretty straightforward as far as, like, you know, traditional storytelling. That was the only thing.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
It felt a little out of place to me. But that, again, you know, it could be, you know, just like those movies where, like, the numbers are rushing past your head. It's the same idea. I get it. So I'm not going to hold that against it. That's just me stylistically, right. Not my thing. But yeah, overall the show was just fantastic. The acting was great. The casting, even I feel so bad just calling him, like, it's like calling Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter, but
Harry Potter, yeah, the Harry Potter
Dudley
guy.
Dursley.
I don't know his name either.
Just seeing his acting capabilities, how he's grown, and all of the acting was just solid. The music was helped enhance the time. I totally bought the time period. Everything was just well done, and it really flowed from one episode to the next. So I'm going to give it, I think an 8.5. I think I'm going to give it a strong 8.5.
You pretty much covered it. I'm actually right there with you. 8.5 out of 10 for me as well. Just the fact that the show about chess could be this good came out of left field. Something different, and I can appreciate that. And everything else you basically covered. So that's it, man. You got anything else for the Queen's Gambit before we wrap it up here? Knight to B5.
Knight to B4. P3 take to B4. B4 comes after yesterday.
Right.
What?
Right. You have to be one ahead. Chris, you are possibly the greatest chess player I've ever met.
I know.
That's it, guys. The Queen's Gambit. I know we're a little bit late on this. You can thank Chris for that. Christopher.
That's me.
But hey, I know this was a popular one, so if you're still watching this, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of this show. What did you think of it? Good, bad? Did we miss anything? Did we miss any big points? I was really interested in this, man. I got to say, really, really interested in it. Happy that you finally watched it. Happy that we got to review it and talk about it on here. And I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as I did. The Queen's Gambit, I'm going to go work on my Sicilian. I've got a match against a Russian later who is pretty serious.
I play the...
you know,
you know.
I
can't tell you.
The King's front pocket. Oh. That's it, everybody. Critic in the comment, man. The Queen's Gambit. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.